That beat-up pickup truck your dad sold for $300 in 1995? It just sold at auction for $200,000. You know what's crazy? Everyone thought pickup trucks were just work vehicles back in the day. Nobody saved them. Nobody babied them. They just worked them to death and threw them away. But now, these same trucks that hauled lumber and farm equipment are selling for the price of a house. Today we're counting down 20 classic pickup trucks that went from forgotten workhorses to absolute gold mines, and you're going to be shocked at what some of these are worth now. The truth is, most people have no idea they're sitting on a fortune. Classic pickup trucks have become one of the hottest segments in the collector car market, with values shooting up faster than gas prices. We're talking about trucks that sold for $2,000 new and are now worth more than most people's yearly salary. Let's start with number 20, the 1967 Ford F-100. This truck was everywhere in the 60s and 70s. Ford sold over 300,000 of these things, so you'd think they'd be cheap, right?
Wrong.
A clean 1967 F-100 with the original 390 big block engine is now worth between $30,000 and $50,000. The reason? It's that perfect sweet spot of classic American design with the reliability of a small block Ford engine. Plus, it's got that distinctive twin-beam front suspension that made it ride better than most cars of the era. But here's where it gets interesting. The short bed versions are worth about $15,000 more than the long bed versions.
Why?
Because they look sportier, and collectors love that proportion look. The most valuable ones have the sport trim package with bucket seats and console, pushing values into the $60,000 range for perfect examples. Number 19 is the 1969 Chevrolet C/K series. Chevy completely redesigned their trucks in 1967, and by 1969, they'd worked out all the bugs. These trucks had that perfect muscle car era styling with the round headlights and that iconic Chevy grille. A 1969 C10 with the original 350 small block is worth about $40,000 today, but if you find one with the rare 396 big block, you're looking at $70,000 or more. The crazy part about these Chevys is that the short bed step-side models are worth almost double what the fleet-side models bring. A clean 1969 C10 step-side with a 396 and 4-speed transmission sold at Barrett-Jackson last year for $85,000. That's not even a numbers-matching truck, just a clean restoration. Coming in at number 18 is the 1978 to 1979 Ford F-150. Now you might think these are too new to be valuable, but you'd be wrong. These were the last of the classic square-body Fords before they went all aerodynamic in the 80s. A clean 1978 F-150 with a 460 big block is worth around $35,000 today, and values are climbing fast. The secret with these trucks is finding one without rust. Most of them lived hard lives, and the bodies tend to rust out around the wheel wells and cab corners. But if you find a Southern truck that's been garage kept, you've hit the jackpot. The four-wheel drive versions are worth about $10,000 more than the two-wheel drive trucks. Number 17 brings us to the 1955 Chevrolet Task Force truck. This was Chevy's answer to Ford's F-100, and it was revolutionary for its time. It had that wraparound windshield and modern styling that made older trucks look ancient. Today, a clean 1955 Chevy pickup is worth between $40,000 and $60,000, depending on the engine and transmission combination. The most valuable ones have the original 265 small block V8 engine, which was brand new that year. This was the engine that would eventually become the legendary 350 small block. Finding one with the original V8 and 3-speed manual transmission is like finding buried treasure. These trucks also had optional two-tone paint from the factory, and those examples bring premium money at auction. At number 16, we have the 1972 Chevrolet Cheyenne. This was the first year for Chevy's square body design, and it was a complete departure from the rounded trucks of the 60s. The 1972 Cheyenne with the Super Sport package is worth about $50,000 today, but the really valuable ones have the 402 big block engine that Chevy called the TurboFire 400. What makes these trucks special is the build quality. GM spent a fortune developing these square body trucks, and it shows. The doors shut with a solid thunk, the interiors were actually comfortable, and they had features like air conditioning and power steering that worked properly. The Cheyenne Super was loaded with options from the factory, including rally wheels and dual exhaust. Number 15 is the 1976 Ford F-250 Highboy. This truck is basically a legend among off-road enthusiasts. The Highboy was factory four-wheel drive, but with a divorced transfer case that sat way up high, giving it incredible ground clearance. Today, a clean Highboy is worth between $40,000 and $70,000, depending on the engine and condition. The most valuable ones have the 390 or 460 big block engines and the 4-speed manual transmission. These trucks were built to work, and most of them did, so finding one that hasn't been beat to death is rare. The Highboy designation only lasted until 1977, when Ford went to a lower-mounted transfer case, so these 2 years are all you can get. Coming in at number 14 is the 1987 Buick Grand National pickup truck. Wait, Buick made a pickup truck? They sure did, and it's one of the rarest trucks ever built. Buick took their Grand National Performance package and put it on a modified El Camino platform. Only about 200 of these were built, and they're worth over $100,000 today. These trucks had the turbocharged 3.8-liter V6 engine from the Grand National car, making them faster than most muscle cars of the era. They came with a limited slip differential and performance suspension, making them handle better than any pickup truck had a right to. If you ever see one for sale, buy it immediately because values are only going up. Number 13 brings us to the 1959 Chevrolet Apache. This was the last year of Chevy's advanced design trucks, and they went out with a bang. The 1959 Apache had that distinctive wraparound rear window and quad headlights that made it look like a Bel Air from the back. Today, a clean Apache is worth between $30,000 and $50,000. The most valuable ones have the original 283 small block V8 engine and the fleet-side bed. The step-side models are worth about the same, but the fleet-side trucks look more modern and appeal to a broader range of collectors. These trucks also had optional two-tone paint and wide white wall tires from the factory, creating a look that screams late 50s America. At number 12, we have the 1970 Dodge D100. Dodge completely redesigned their trucks in 1972, making the 1970 the last of the classic 60s styling. These trucks had that aggressive front end with the crosshair grille and round headlights. A clean 1970 D100 with the 340 small block is worth about $40,000 today. But here's the kicker. If you find one with a rare 440 big block engine, you're looking at $60,000 or more. The 440 was only available in the heavy-duty trucks, so finding one in a half-ton is like finding a unicorn. These trucks also had Chrysler's excellent 3-speed automatic transmission, which was smoother than anything Ford or Chevy offered. Number 11 is the 1964 Ford F-100. This was the first year of Ford's fourth-generation trucks, and they were completely different from anything that came before. The 1964 F-100 had that clean, modern styling with the rectangular headlights and simple grille. Today, a clean example with the 260 V8 is worth around $45,000. The most valuable ones have the optional 289 Hy-Vee engine, which was the same engine Ford used in the Mustang. These trucks also had an optional 4-speed manual transmission, which makes them feel like driving a muscle car. The styling was so clean and modern that it influenced truck design for the next decade. Coming in at number 10 is the 1968 Chevrolet C10. This was the second year of Chevy's second-generation trucks, and they'd worked out all the bugs from the 1967 model year. The 1968 C10 had that perfect muscle car era styling with the round headlights and chrome bumpers. A clean example with a 327 small block is worth about $50,000 today. The most valuable ones have the CST Custom Sport Truck package, which included bucket seats, console, and special trim. These trucks also had optional air conditioning and power steering, making them comfortable daily drivers. The short bed models are worth about $15,000 more than the long bed versions. Number 9 brings us to the 1974 Ford F-250 Camper Special. This truck was built specifically for the RV boom of the 70s, with heavy-duty springs and a beefed-up frame. Today, a clean camper special is worth between $40,000 and $60,000, depending on the engine and options. The most valuable ones have the 460 big block engine and the 4-speed manual transmission. These trucks were built to haul heavy loads, so they're incredibly robust. The Camper Special package also included heavy-duty shocks, larger tires, and a transmission cooler, making them perfect for towing. At number 8, we have the 1981 to 1987 Chevrolet C10. These were the last of the square-body Chevys before they went to the rounded GMT 400 platform in 1988. A clean 1987 C10 with a 305 small block is worth about $35,000 today, but values are climbing fast. The secret with these trucks is finding one with the original paint and interior. Most of them have been modified or restored, so finding a completely original example is rare. The 1987 models are the most valuable because they had fuel injection and were the most refined of the square-body trucks. Number 7 is the 1965 Ford F-100. This was the second year of Ford's clean, modern styling, and they'd worked out the bugs from the 1964 model year. The 1965 F-100 had that distinctive side spear and optional two-tone paint that made it look like a muscle car. Today, a clean example with a 289 V8 is worth around $50,000. The most valuable ones have the optional 4-speed manual transmission and the Ranger package, which included bucket seats and console. These trucks also had optional air conditioning and power steering, making them comfortable to drive. The short bed models are worth significantly more than the long bed versions. Coming in at number 6 is the 1977 Ford F-150. This was the last year of the 6th generation F-Series, and it was the most refined truck Ford had ever built. The 1977 F-150 had that classic square body styling with the distinctive grille and round headlights. A clean example with a 460 big block is worth about $45,000 today. The most valuable ones have the Ranger XLT package, which included bucket seats, console, and special trim. These trucks also had optional 4-wheel drive, which makes them worth about $10,000 more. The 1977 models are considered the best of the 6th generation because they had all the bugs worked out. Number 5 brings us to the 1969 Ford F-100. This was the last year of Ford's 5th generation trucks, and they went out with a bang. The 1969 F-100 had that aggressive styling with the rectangular headlights and chrome bumpers. Today, a clean example with a 390 big block is worth around $55,000. The most valuable ones have the Sport package, which included bucket seats, console, and special wheels. These trucks also had optional 4-wheel drive, which was rare for the time. The 1969 models are considered the best of the 5th generation because they had the most powerful engines and the most refined styling. At number 4, we have the 1973 Chevrolet C10. This was the second year of Chevy's square body design, and they'd worked out all the bugs from the 1972 model year. The 1973 C10 had that perfect 70s styling with the round headlights and chrome bumpers. A clean example with a 350 small block is worth about $60,000 today. The most valuable ones have the Cheyenne Super package, which included bucket seats, console, and special trim. These trucks also had optional air conditioning and power steering, making them comfortable daily drivers. The short bed step-side models are worth about $20,000 more than the fleet-side versions. Number 3 is the 1956 Ford F-100. This was the second year of Ford's second-generation trucks, and they'd refined the design from the 1953 debut. The 1956 F-100 had that classic 50s styling with a wraparound windshield and optional two-tone paint. Today, a clean example with a 272 Y-block V8 is worth around $65,000. The most valuable ones have the original Y-block engine and 3-speed manual transmission. These trucks also had optional overdrive, which was rare for the time. The 1956 models are considered the best of the second generation because they had the most powerful engines and the most refined styling. Coming in at number 2 is the 1967 Chevrolet C10. This was the first year of Chevy's second-generation trucks, and they were completely different from anything that came before. The 1967 C10 had that clean, modern styling with the round headlights and simple grille. Today, a clean example with the 327 small block is worth around $70,000. The most valuable ones have the original 327 engine and 4-speed manual transmission. These trucks were the first to have that iconic Chevy truck look that lasted until 1987. The 1967 models are considered the holy grail of Chevy trucks because they were the first year of the design that defined what a Chevy truck should look like. And finally, at number 1, we have the 1953 Ford F-100. This was the truck that started it all, the first year of Ford's second-generation design. The 1953 F-100 had that groundbreaking styling with the one-piece windshield and modern cab design. Today, a clean example with the original flathead V8 is worth over $80,000. The most valuable ones have the original 239 flathead V8 engine and 3-speed manual transmission. These trucks were revolutionary for their time, with features like a one-piece windshield and modern cab design that made older trucks look ancient. The 1953 models are the most valuable because they were the first year of the design that would define pickup trucks for the next 2 decades. Here's the thing that blows my mind about all these trucks. Most of them were selling for under $10,000 just 20 years ago. A clean 1953 F-100 that's worth $80,000 today was selling for about $5,000 in 2004. That's better than most stock market investments. The reason these trucks have gotten so valuable is simple: nostalgia and scarcity. The people who grew up with these trucks are now in their peak earning years, and they want to buy back their childhood. Problem is, most of these trucks were worked to death and thrown away. The ones that survived are the ones that were babied or stored away, and there just aren't many of them left. Another factor driving prices up is the quality of restorations. Modern restoration techniques and parts availability mean these trucks can be brought back to better than new condition. But a quality restoration can cost $50,000 or more, which pushes the value of original, unrestored trucks even higher. The collector truck market is also being driven by younger buyers who appreciate the simple, analog nature of these machines. In a world of electronic everything, there's something appealing about a truck where you can actually fix things yourself. These trucks have personality and character that modern vehicles just can't match. Looking at current trends, values are still climbing. Classic truck prices have increased an average of 15% per year over the last decade, and there's no sign of that slowing down. The trucks from the 60s and 70s are leading the charge, but even trucks from the 80s are starting to appreciate rapidly. The key to finding value in the classic truck market is buying the best example you can afford. A clean, original truck will always be worth more than a restored one, and a numbers-matching truck is worth more than one with the wrong engine. The most valuable trucks are the ones with rare options like 4-wheel drive, big block engines, or special trim packages. Regional differences also play a huge role in pricing. Southern trucks that haven't been exposed to road salt are worth significantly more than northern trucks with rust issues. California trucks are particularly valuable because of the dry climate and strict emissions regulations that kept many of them stock. The interesting thing is that these aren't just investments, they're usable vehicles. Unlike classic cars that sit in garages and only come out for car shows, these trucks can actually be driven and enjoyed. They're comfortable enough for daily use, reliable enough for road trips, and practical enough to actually haul stuff when needed. If you're thinking about buying a classic truck, now is the time to act. Prices are only going up, and the good ones are getting harder to find. The baby boomers who bought these trucks new are starting to sell them off, which means there's still good inventory available. But as that generation ages out of the market, supply is going to dry up fast. The bottom line is this: classic pickup trucks have gone from forgotten work vehicles to legitimate collector cars. The values reflect their importance in American automotive history and their growing desirability among collectors. Whether you're looking for an investment or just want to own a piece of automotive history, these 20 trucks represent the best of what the classic truck market has to offer. What's your favorite truck from this list? Drop a comment and let me know which one you'd want in your garage. And don't forget to subscribe so you can continue to watch other vintage car-related videos.